bilingual lie through their teeth. Try to talk money, it's on the tip of their tongue. You know the feeling when the words just outside your reach. Take a few steps in, you outside your territory. Make them lean back like Terror Squad when telling stories. Or even like you got the act in you. So many different vernacular perspective and points. Went from selecting electives to collecting the coins, to rejecting investments, to connecting with legends and stressing acceptance, to fuck it. I'll write with my left, I'm finessing this joint with my right, to bring the light like a key on a kite. The roll of thunder make them pee on themselves. I see the fire, I've been drinking Freon. I'm on the corner, feel like Dion with these cowboys. Don't speak snake with these Malfoys though. No sweat on my cowboy flow. Brought the funk like an outhouse, the bumps like a bounce house, and spit like the beatbox, the heat rock. Pull up puffin' on the end though. Chevy shitting up on the Renzos. Oh, head hit me with the head nod. Understood a nigga like 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4. 10-4, 10-4, 10-4. Oh, head hit me with the head nod. Understood a nigga like. Yeah, we say a lot to say a little. And sometimes we say the most and we ain't really saying shit at all. Cotton mouth, I swear I spit it all. I spit it all on the paper. I'm twisting all of this paper. I'm spinning all of this paper for retail therapy. Brimlow, they still can tell it's me. They say they want the kid in Tel Aviv. Now what that tell the world? I know you smelling me. My fingers recently wrestled the evergreen. Been 100 proof, the message is never clear. Speaking for the crew, I'm playing Miss Everdeen, peculiar. Yeah, I study Miss Pettigrew, my pedigree. Duke Nukem, yo, you can but just let it be. Falling out of harmony, be singing different melodies. Really ain't spoke the same language in a long time. Both like to claim it's only cause the different latitude. Long lines and shows got me distant with my attitude. The matador, I know you mad at me, I ain't even mad at you. Hey, pull up puffin' on the end though. Chevy shitting up on the Renzos. Oh, head hit me with the head nod. Understood a nigga like 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4. 10-4, 10-4, 10-4. Oh, head hit me with the head nod. Understood a nigga like. ねえ、誰かいる？一緒に時間過ごしたいんだけど仕事後にしてくれない？聞こえないふりしないで。聞こえてるの分かってるよ。Let's see what happens next time you check it for me. Fuck you say? I'm just gonna call my other nigga. And I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. Do anything for the cash, yes. Do anything for the cash. And I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. Do anything for the cash, yes. Do anything for the cash. Give me space, let me breathe. Never gonna rest if you never gonna let me. I understand it's what you need, but it won't be my best if I ain't got nothing left. Baby, I can't lie, I got money on my mind. Baby, I can't lie, I got money on my mind. You love spending time, you ain't gotta spend the time. Long as we're in rhythm, you don't care about the run. When it's slow or flame, you want me to heat it up. Tyson in the rain, you want me to beat it up. How you like it, I know how you like it. Girl, I shine it bright, yes, but only when I'm fired up. And I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. Do anything for the cash, yes. Do anything for the cash. And I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. Do anything for the cash, yes. Do anything for the cash. I don't even know what I do, Joe Dumbass. You ain't gotta tell me, baby, I know I'm your favorite. It's all fun and games, but I ain't the one to play with. No reason to worry what you worry about. All our little problems I'll be working out. Don't you let her put on a show when I don't give you your affection. You be fussing and moaning, talking about why don't I give you something to talk about. Soon as you get my attention, you know it's going down. Oh. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. Do anything for the cash, yes. Do anything for the cash. And I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. I ain't in the mood, fine in my bag. Do anything for the cash, yes. Do anything for the cash. All right, what's up, guys? We got another session in the books. Let's dive into it. Happy and grateful to be here with every single one of you. All right, let's dive in. First and foremost, before we get started, before I start marking up any charts in here, just wanted to say welcome to everybody. Appreciate you guys plugging in here with me live every morning, or most mornings. We've been able to, we get consistently 400 to 500 engaged people just throughout the session, which is awesome. You guys have been, pouring into the community as well. I don't know if you guys saw, but I did. I made a post here yesterday just regarding we're like on the brink of hitting 2,000 members in our free community, and this is eliminating bots, and a lot of people are just kind of lurking, watching the courses in here, the vaults, etc., just rewatching certain things, and then just taking advantage of the sessions, whether it's the ones we do here, the guides, all that good stuff. So, we're super grateful. I am going to be hosting a private training, so a 1-hour private training with 5 of you, and the 5 people who invite the most into our community. Now, this is a free community, so there's no pressure, no sale, no nothing. But if you guys go to members, click invite, and then send it out to whatever traders you feel like can take value from our community, that would be amazing. Super grateful for all of you.
And yeah, the 5 people that have the most invites will get access to a private training. And yeah, so that'll end on Monday, 11:59 p.m. CST. Yeah, this is just our little push to get over 2K. And yeah, amazing stuff. And then congrats to everyone that's been killing it. The wins in here. Love to see the wins. We had 2 syndicate members yesterday get funded, and a couple on the brink of getting funded, and a couple on the brink of their payouts. So amazing to see. And yeah, let's just keep tackling this on strong. So yesterday we ended our session with a couple ideas pending. One of the ideas was the sell on US 30. So I did take the short here, and again, as always, for transparency purposes, I took this with half risk. And then I let this thing ride all the way to here. So rode this thing out to like right there. So we got a nice... now my entry was a little lower because I did not get a 5R. Like a 4.5R on half risk. So I collected more like 2.25R. So that's what we got going on. What's up, Greg? So this was a great trade for us yesterday. If you guys decided to take advantage, then congratulations. Another W in the books. We had this week has been a monster, at least. It's been epic. So not all weeks are like this. Some weeks are good. Some weeks are okay. Some weeks are, it could be better. And some weeks are just really, really, really on top of it. So FOMC week tends to be that. Going back from CPI, PPI, FOMC, busy weeks. Next week, I think it'll be a little bit more chill, but we'll see. But that was our trade from yesterday as well. And we had an oil setup. So just to quickly recap our oil setup. And if you want to go see that, like, guys, all of these live streams are recorded. So you can get so much out of just rewatching how we approached certain setups, certain opportunities. But yesterday, we also had a buy on oil. So it took the buy here. Was up a decent amount. I wanted to let this thing ride into the imbalance a bit longer. So I ended up break even on this trade after we got the mitigation right there. So break even trade. And then I wanted another trade over here, but I was already asleep. And this one also, mitigation, would have ended up break even as well. So oil, that's really all about it. I see possible sells though. So I'll mark this up in a little bit. We'll come back to this. And so let's go take a look back at indices and see what we can do here. We got 9 minutes till New York Open. More than enough time to get in here. All right. So let's see. Who do I got with me? Carlos. Crystal Paul. What's up, familia? Nikki, welcome. You've been on it. You plugged in and you've been dialed in. Harshi, what's good? Juan Carlos Ricardo Terán Mejias. Lit. Carlos, Luis, Amy. What's up, Amy? Gabriel, ¿cómo estás? Seth, what's good, my brother? Hope you have a great Friday, a good weekend, man. Brandon, what's up, gang? Jesus Lunar, what's good? Trader Nomad in the house. Omar, Nora, Joe. Buenos días, Estefania. Salvador, Jaden from Phoenix, Arizona. Sick. Primo, ¿qué tal? What's up, man? What's up, Smokey? Guten Morgen. Larry, Paul Sung, checking in, Papa. What's up? All right, what's up, Filmowit? All right, so good stuff, good energy, guys. Remember, before you go and trade today, before you start pressing buttons, try not to focus on the money. Try not to focus on, the timeline. Like, oh man, I gotta make money now. I gotta be profitable right now. I gotta get these payouts, man. It's about the performance. It's about the quality of the performance. I know it's not always easy, but focus on that. All right, focus on that. The only thing that matters is how well can I do what I do. All right, let's just trade to have good executions. That's it. All right. If you're close to passing, if you're close to getting paid out, if you're, hitting a target that would position you to withdraw from your accounts, it'll happen. But you want to just be able to stay in the game before it does. All right. Just in case it's not the next trade. Okay. So what we started to notice is that the market yesterday, as much as it crashed down to here, it really did not want to stay trading below like this 46,450 price. So finally, during London session, we get this spike down, getting into imbalance, and then the market just rips. So really nice reaction right out of this area, came further down into this imbalance. At this point now, I would say that this is a healthy rebalance, mitigation, close out the big sells for the buys. And it looks like it kind of sets up for a similar moment here. So, skill over profit. Yeah, love that. What's up, Daniel? Dan? All right, bless you. So, nice little sweep to the low. The market chops up, builds up liquidity on both ends, and then just, as it accumulates, moving sideways, it finally expands. So right now, Dow with a lot of momentum to the upside. If we were to get a pullback back into here where we have this imbalance, we have this sell-off, I think we could get a nice rebound out of this zone. I want to, we're going to compare Dow. We're going to look at NASDAQ, and we'll see. But this is looking solid so far. If we zoom out a bit more just to kind of see where are we in this, yesterday we had these London session highs still, so we might target that. I don't have a sell yet, but depending on how things are looking, maybe we see a shakeout, but let's just let the market print and just kind of guide us, show us what's in store here. Now that's Dow. We look at NASDAQ. Similar, but not as aggressive to the upside, right? We're already seeing Dow Jones getting above yesterday's New York open or New York high. So here's where we had the highs from yesterday. This is where we had our entries. So we're starting to break above all that. NASDAQ here, moving in a similar fashion as Dow, just not as aggressive. Right here was the highs from New York session, so this would be taking out quite a bit of liquidity, and we do see NASDAQ work its way down to play at here before rallying. I'm curious if we end up dropping down into here or not, but since Dow is more bullish already, I am more inclined to look for buys with Dow instead of NASDAQ, at least for now. During London session, we do have, the push below these lows, the continuation to the downside. And then it gets pretty choppy once it makes that push down. So it's not as bullish, in my opinion. So I could see maybe some reversals out of here. Maybe that aligns with Dow as well. Short the lagger. We could. So shorting one of these could definitely happen. We just kind of want to see which one's going to give us the setup best. So they both, I feel like both are going to end up clearing the highs, yesterday's highs. And then from there, it's really more about, can we get signs that the market's going to reverse? So would I buy now? No. Would I sell right now? Also, no. I wouldn't. No, of course, you guys can do whatever you want. And then you have S&P. So S&P sitting somewhere between Dow and NASDAQ still has Thursday's London sessions highs over here. New York. So same thing. I think S&P clears the highs, and then from there maybe we see the reversal. So what I'm inclined to see, what I'm curious to see, is going to be, are we going to get a signature liquidity sweep? Market loses that momentum. Maybe we build up here for a bit, and then from here we ride out. Sometimes this happens. Honestly, lately, I've been seeing it happen very quick, where it'll just push up, down, up, and then go. For those of you that use volume, the volume indicator, I know it's been pretty useful in some of these examples. I have never honestly gotten into where is this thing? Using volume. So I can't go ahead and say like, oh, this is part of my strategy or anything like that. But if it's something that works for you, then do whatever works for you. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start split screen here. Let's get both of these in front of us. We're a minute away from New York Open. So we got Dow and NASDAQ here. Interesting though. Dow is starting to push down though. Here we go again. We're seeing the difference in price action right before things get fun. So we cleared yesterday's New York highs, and then here are London session highs. So maybe we end up seeing Dow then lag, and we'll kind of see how it plays out. What's up, Sen? What's happening? All right, let's see. New York Open. Boom. All right, so the fun begins here. So we're seeing Dow open a little bearish and NASDAQ open a little bullish. All right, right off the rip. So we make one push, drop, another reversal into here before it's dropping. NASDAQ holding up, structure solid. Okay, so right off of this open, we're starting to get some signs that could the market want to distribute? It's possible. So if we were to stay bearish, if we were to kind of start creating some demand over here, however it goes, then I am open to shorting, whether it's going to be in here or up here. Kind of looks like we already mitigated that. So something like this does have some potential. Meanwhile, we can see NASDAQ just kind of choppy, moving sideways. So nothing crazy on NASDAQ. And then S&P following along with Dow. So S&P trading similar to Dow Jones. I think we're going to be in a bearish. It might be a bearish day today then. So let's just see how everything unfolds here. So already we're starting to see the market, maintain these, get back down to here. We did take out some liquidity playing into these areas. I don't really have anything to buy over here. Like I don't have entries for buys or anything like that. So yeah, we're only 2 minutes after New York Open. The market, obviously, even a couple minutes beforehand, starting to dump, and then now, worked even more further down. So yeah, let's see what this looks like. I would prefer to see the market keep trading down here before looking to short anything. If it's quick to come right back up, then the thing is that could be a sign that this was just to liquidate buyers and to attract sellers down here. So if this comes right back up, then that could be the case. Now, considering that prices are competitive right here, right now, we're seeing more and more, orders at 46, below 46,560. Like we're genuinely trading over here. This could set us up. So let's see it. And so instead of taking out London session right away, NASDAQ filled an imbalance, played out of these highs from midday yesterday, and then is kind of holding it down now. So I am curious to see how this continues to trade. I wonder if we are going to see NASDAQ push towards clearing out London session highs from yesterday, or New York session highs from yesterday, and if that sets up Dow Jones later on for a short. So that would be really interesting, and that could give us a much better trading opportunity. But what we are noticing is, in terms of the way that it's dropping, Dow Jones is significantly more bearish, NASDAQ, kind of lagging behind. So what else could that mean? Remember the buys that we were looking at here? That means that these buy setups could also line up over here. So just like we saw yesterday, London open, the market push down and then drop, I think we could see a similar trading opportunity. So if we keep pushing further down, I'm open to waiting until we get NASDAQ down to here, and then we take a NASDAQ buy. That would also bring S&P down to here. So I think we have a possibility at that, because there's a lot of liquidity, a lot of retail buyers in this range. And I know some of you maybe now are thinking, okay, so if we think it's going to go down, why not just sell now? Like, why not catch this whole thing? Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to happen right now. It just could happen. If it does happen, then that's what I would do. For all we know, the market may want to go higher first and then eventually work its way down there. So I just don't know when it's going to happen. Same thing here with Dow Jones. Okay, is Dow going to keep pushing lower? And then, do you want to sell right now just because it can go down another 50 points or so? Not really. So, yeah, giving myself the ability to wait a little longer, I think, goes a long way. Yeah, so I'm going to wait it out, and I'm going to wait for NASDAQ. And then NASDAQ getting over to here. I like the buys just kind of right in here. I don't know if I'm going to wait for it to go super low. I think I'm cool with something like this. We'll see how the market works its way. Depending on how it drops, then, I'll make a decision. So, sometimes we do see, because there's a difference in the way the market moves. Taking a buy out of here, in my opinion, I think is riskier, or it's less probable, just because they have been decently enough moving in the same direction. It's not like they've been moving in opposite directions this whole time. So I could see the market, if NASDAQ's going to want to keep pushing lower, it's only going to keep taking Dow Jones further and further down. So, is there a chance that Dow just wants to get over here and then mitigate and go bullish? Maybe. But there's also a chance that Dow Jones wants to get back into this area over here. We have a lot of price action in this range. So always got to keep the higher time frames in consideration when you're looking at how the market's moving. Same thing if I zoom out here. NASDAQ has these key levels. So, These are always possible. Now going back closer to the present, we did see exactly the sweep of these lows. The market plays into that sell-off and is doing a pretty good job of reacting and rejecting this right away. So I didn't take this. I wasn't interested. I didn't like the probability of it playing out and the RR. So this, I'd say, has already kind of done its thing. So will the market keep pushing down here? Nasdaq has a long way to go down. So is that going to keep pushing Dow down? I think so. So we'll keep this here. I'll keep this on the on a different screen. I'll keep an eye on it so we can move on to different charts, right? See what's going on with everything else. So yeah, let's go take a look. All right. Now, what I will say is if you want to be more prepared and have like your contracts ready, if you're going to take a position on something like Nasdaq, or you're going to take a position on whatever, just know roughly what your contracts would look like. That way you're not scrambling if the market gets close to your entry and you have to make all of these like last second decisions. So yeah. Okay. Now, for all my metalheads over here, the trade that played out nicely was that idea we had on silver. I talked about how we saw a shift in structure on the small time frame, but we didn't really get a lot of a shift in momentum on the higher time frames. So I did mention how between gold and silver was definitely a better buy. It just was significantly more bullish. But I didn't have enough confirmation to take the position. Maybe we could have gone with a half risk, but yeah, so this rejected really well and has continued to move to the upside nicely. So we saw the huge sell-off. The market then here basically gives it trades up here, it moves sideways, holds this pretty well until it does one last dip and then rallies. So the market's been mitigating, rebalancing, just trading really well. Even with all of that being said, still not giving us a 15-minute break of structure. So like every time we trade up here, we are losing momentum. So if you want to look at this even on the 1 hour, it's pretty unsustainable once it gets above 42.50. This kind of keeps dropping, keep losing momentum. So as of now, I don't love taking any buys. I also don't see any setups with silver here anymore, except for up here. So this would be the only one I would be kind of keeping my eyes on. It's possibly selling when we had that spike up over here. And just to give you guys some perspective back on indices, Nasdaq still just kind of chopping up, holding it down over here, while Dow did bounce nicely out of this level. Clearly more bearish than bullish at the moment. After the first 12 minutes, all it's been doing is dropping and trading down here. So with that being said, I do think that there are selling opportunities. Here was New York open right there. We see that spike up into this last push up and then the reversal. So I think we could see sells out of this order block. I don't think we're going to come back up here anymore. So a short out of this, and you can have your stops wider if you want. But yeah, I'm looking at a short like this. And then especially if we're clearing these London highs. If all of this lines up, then then we're in business for a short as well. So if you want to also roughly know, okay, is my contract size, what is my lot size for a sell if the market were to get to this area, then yeah, have that in place. Be prepared. All right. So I'm going to have, everything ready to roll here. Cool. If we get up here, we're ready. If we get down here, we're ready. So relating to silver, pretty choppy. Not much that I'm going to be doing here. I'm okay. Now, looking at gold. Gold over here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here's 4 hour on gold. What is this starting to look like, guys? 4 hour structure, we have our higher highs, our higher lows over here, creating liquidity as well. From here, then the market started creating a new bullish structure. However, it's really struggling to stay at these levels. So the market, has one more push to liquidate and then starts to drop and continues to drop, further creating more and more liquidity down here. So this to me is starting to look like distribution on higher time frames, which means I think we're coming to a place where we can start seeing the markets turn around again for metals, maybe for a bit. So if you're like, I've been holding a silver buy since June, and I think I'm about to call it a day there. Yeah, so I'm looking, like, I like how the silver trade is played out, but yeah, this one's been open since June 30th. Pretty sweet trade. I think it might be time to call it though. Yeah, I'll send you guys a screenshot in the chat here. But it's been a nice little push. I bought it at 35.50 for silver. So my entry is way down here. Yeah, we've been riding this one out. Somewhere over here, I think it was. So, yeah, I mean, it might come back for here now. It might come back for this later. I'm not really sure. So the most probable thing to do is to just take my money now. So got that there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my profits on this. It was a good ride. Almost 3 months holding that bad boy. Okay, so regarding gold. Gold here, this was the FOMC pump. So skyrocketed up to here before it melted away and kept pushing lower. Here we build up some liquidity. So I do think we have retail sells still positioned into gold pretty nicely, and I think we can get them out of the market. So let's zoom in here and see if there's any open sells or something like that we can look at. And here's where I think we can see a short in gold. We had after FOMC, like in between FOMC and the press conference, we had an extra pump right there. And then from here, the market just kind of stalls out and keeps dropping. So I do think we can see a nice short out of this in the near future. Sometime next week, I think we have a nice shot at this. So let's see. Yeah, so this could be a swing too. Like I'm looking at this, and if you know what I'm looking is correct, ooh, this is like possibly, there's a chance that we can short this thing all the way back down to, I would say, 34.80. About a 2,000 pip drop would be awesome. But yeah, this would be a kind of like a 4-hour restructure, like rebalance. Whether it could even go lower, but I think taking it into here is kind of where I'm more interested into. I'm not going to hold my full position all the way down to here, obviously, but I am curious about it. All right, so we're starting to see Dow pick up some momentum here to the upside. We're seeing, NASDAQ do more of the same as well. It's kind of building up liquidity here, so I want to see NASDAQ clear this. Dow also leaving behind liquidity here. So let's see if NASDAQ's going to give us that last push to trade, clear out some of this liquidity, some of yesterday's New York highs, and if we can reject. I'm going to come back to gold here in a second, but since we're pretty close to this zone, I do want to be ready for this. For my short, I am going to have my stop loss at the high. So I'm liking an idea like this. And then we can see this thing push decent. Let's see. Like, it looks like, all right, here we go. We're starting to get a nice pump. Let's see NASDAQ. We need a little more. Let's get above these highs, NQ. Come on. Básicamente, busco vender Dow Jones, pero quiero ver NASDAQ sacar estos altos para que todo esté en buen alineamiento todo. All right. YM. All right, we're approaching the zones. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys like this setup? Is there enough confirmation that this is going to want to drop again? How do you guys feel about this trade? Let me look at the chat here real quick. I remember that buy. Mad, you're still holding that. I'm very quiet. Oh, okay. I might have been away from the mic, like my voice or whatever. What stop do you have? What's on the screen right now? That's the stop we got going on. Uh-huh. I'm in golden Nas buys. Nice. Good stuff. All right, this looks like it's aligning pretty well. We're seeing NASDAQ about to clear those highs. Dow has just entered the zone. For reversals, I'm going to wait a little bit longer, see if we can get an entry a little bit higher in here. See if we get NASDAQ to take out liquidity first. And then once that happens, I think this takes out the most amount of retail sellers is for NQ to take out yesterday's highs. And I think this can take us even higher, maybe even higher than this zone. So we will see. But once NASDAQ takes out these highs, then I'm going to market execute this short. It could be a little lower. It could be a little bit higher. So we'll kind of see what this will end up looking like. I may regret this. I might regret this, but I am going to look to hold until NQ clears these highs. We shall see. Patience, patience, patience. Here we go. All right. NQ tapped above the highs. If you wanted to market execute a short, it is an understandable time to do so now. All right. We're in there. So I have officially opened my sell. I am in a little bit lower than I wanted to originally. My stop is over here. I could see stops will play out over here, but I am going to keep mine up here just because I'm kind of feeling like I want a little bit more wiggle room. That's how I measured my contract size. And then especially now that we cleared, NQ cleared these highs, not by a whole bunch, so there is a chance that maybe it still goes. But we'll see here. All right, we got this trade rolling. All right, now it's starting to play. Now, here's how I'm going to manage my trade, though. So this order block was 54 points. So if this bad boy drops those 54 points, then I will go and tighten everything up. So if we get over to here, then, you know, I'm just going to be all square. All right, so we're locked in there pretty nice. All right. Did we get a pullback? Does this thing just melt through? Let's see. All right, nice little pullback. Okay. All right, so we're just about there for the rejection here. Let's see what we got going on. Back at around entry, not around entry, back at around, still a couple points in profit. So if we're looking at this and we're looking at the movement, we did drop about 47 points. Not enough for me to say like we've mitigated fully based on just how the market moved here. I think we can get a little more of a drop because this was the move up. So let's see if we can push down further. Got pretty close though. A little choppiness. NASDAQ too, kind of playing back and forth. Looks like it's starting to get some momentum down. Let's see if that's going to bring Dow down as well. And then what's S&P doing? What we got S&P doing over here? S&P playing out of the high, also mitigating. Okay, cool. Dow's playing a little tough to get. All right. The nice thing is we have a lot of smooth imbalance over here. Smooth imbalance and equal lows to target. So I do like our targets. NASDAQ also has a ton of liquidity sitting right here. So between the indices, there is just a lot of signs that this should drop. Sucks that Dow is just kind of froze after getting that initial drop in here. since it's moving, kind of squeezing, we might have a bigger breakout as well. See how it's kind of just stalled out for a few minutes? This sometimes leads to just like a big move down or a big move up, either or. All right. Here we go. Getting the continuation. This is what we like to see. All right, so at this point, I'm going to move my stops to here. I'm okay with just keeping this at an extremely tiny risk. All right. How does this go on for everybody, guys? You guys up in profit? Let me see some W's in the chat if that is the case. Okay. At this point, depending on where your stop is, you're looking at maybe a 1R. You're looking at maybe, if you put your stop here originally, then you're looking at closer to a 2R right now, just about. So it kind of just depends on your exit at the or your stop and how you entered, etc. I don't think there should be any reason to have any more risk on the table anymore. If anything, I think you could position yourself into profit. If you like where you're at right now with the market, then take money off the table too. If you're someone that likes to take partials, be my guest over here. We just got into the new hour. New hour tends to bring in some volatility, so expect that as well. All right. Some nice movement. Let me look at the chat. Let's see what's up. Some W's in the chat. Let's see. If you guys are in profit, how much? Our R-wise, if you're passing a challenge, whatever, we like to see it. The backtesting I've done was literally in your area. Love that. Hell yeah. Close my NAS, still riding gold up. I waited for it to come up a little higher, unfortunately. It happens, man. Okay, so here we go. Some good movement so far. This is a safe place to take profit too, where we have some structure before. If you're already up a good amount and you want to just kind of ride this, like you just call it, then this is also a great place. This is not a bad place. You have resistance before, typical for this thing to bounce the way it's bouncing in here. Doesn't mean it's going to fully reverse. It could. But there's a lot more that this could do, especially because NASDAQ also has some resistance here. So it is giving a little bounce. But we do have more of an imbalance in all of this liquidity. And considering how we're kind of struggling to even stay up here too, I wonder if we're going to keep pushing down. I have my stops in profit as well. So my entry is about 20 points in my stop loss is about 20 points in profit. And just letting this thing, ride it out into the sunset. Let's see if we keep making a nice push. With the liquidity here, it just seems to be a likely place for this to target down there. So we had another trade in which we choose the right asset class to short. And, we did that understanding the divergence between the two. So well done, everybody. Well done. Where's everyone's exit? Or did you guys already take profit? Near my first funded 10% target. Fire. Congrats, man. That's amazing. 2 3Rs done. No, I'm not selling NASDAQ. I sold Dow. 150 express top step. 105 on micro. Stop loss and profit. Great work, Edsel. Close gold. Not sure why price is way behind on TradingView for you, because TradingView doesn't give you it doesn't default give you in real time price action. It'll give you like a 15-minute delay if you don't have it's like $7 a month. So they'll give you a 15-minute delay. You'll see like right here on your TradingView, it'll be like a little orange color, I think, or yellow, and it'll show that it's a delayed data feed. Man, it's fighting this one here. It doesn't want to break below. This is duking it out over here. So something like this is sometimes those types of trades where if you're very much okay with, if you feel like this is price action that's going to not give you the continuation, then what's in your power is to close it. Now, if you feel like this is just temporary and that there's more than enough incentive for price to keep working lower, then, stick to your original idea. I think that this is doing a break and retest for NASDAQ. So I do think this is luring in more buyers. I think we're going to see it push down again. Thank you. Haven't taken profit based on my stop loss. I'm like at a 1R currently. And yeah, that's okay. Would you go for an exit on YM based on NQ taking out those trendline lows? I feel like I like the liquidity sweep here. Yes, we could see it Dow go way further down. There is a chance. There is a chance, but I'd prefer just to kind of lock it in here. It's a pretty solid trade. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna focus on. I totally get it though. Like I get seeing NASDAQ at least clear, this last trend line hit here and maybe get down to there. So I could totally see that. But again, it's just as possible that this thing wants to reverse. So we'll play it out here. Right now, the NQ break and retest buyers are starting to see some profit. I'm not looking to sell NASDAQ or anything like that, but I could see this being a enticement for buyers before this thing turns around. But we're already in the asset that was the most bearish, so I think we're in a good place. Now, what you want to consider as well is if the market were to turn around and come all the way back to here, how would you feel about that? Would you then be like, man, I should have taken partials? Would you think I should have just closed out my trade? So like these are the things that you want to consider so that if something like that happens, you're not at this like trader's remorse. Plus 0.86%. I take it 0.5 risk. So 2.9% in FTMO challenge. Steady and slowly. Good job, Jesus. Well done, man. So we're getting a little bit of an imbalance fill right now. From where we were at. It's already reversed about 50 points. We were up max. We saw a little over 100, something like that. So let's see is this going to be just a rebalance for the market to work further down, or is this the beginning of a continuation on Dow? So again, mention that this was possible after it found previous levels of a resistance that can sometimes function as support. I don't trade this. This isn't like entries or anything like that for me. These are just almost like I'm just more prepared for small reversals or major reversals in these types of scenarios. I didn't take my profit because I do think we have room for the market to drop more. I think there's incentive for it to continue downwards. So I'm willing to risk giving back, 1.5 R to let the market run to the end. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and that's cool. But worst case scenario, it's a profitable trade. Not as much as we would have been, but still not bad. Let's see if this thing loses gas and wants to melt. Close mine right on time to get profit 1.5R. I like it. Good stuff, Nora. And that detachment, like, to, you know, fixed movements, I think it makes such a big difference. Like, you know, being able to, you know, get your full target is always great. But if you're seeing certain signs from the market and you're willing to just claim less for the sake of probabilities, then I also think that's more than fair. Had one half position closed in profits, rest hit stop loss in profits. Cool. Nice stuff. Good stuff, Larry. Right now we will see if it's gonna respect this little bit of structure that we have right here. If this is from here, let's say it's gonna tap that and then drop. That's kind of what I was banking on if it were to pull back. That's why I have my stop up here. So let's see. And then if we see this, work its way further down, I will move my stop profit to here. Look at that. Just like that, we had, like we talked about, looks like NASDAQ is now going to look to sweep to take out the retail buyers from the break and retest area right there. So this is looking more and more like we could see this continue to push down, at least to imbalance, ideally into this trend line, clear out these lows, and that could set up Dow to make its next run. So let's see if that's going to be the case. Let's keep pushing. Come on now. The downside, what I'm not liking too much is like Dow just isn't dropping super aggressive. We got to see this thing just bleed. I will say this. Out of this zone, right, we had a little push here. It was like 27 points. Now we've seen the market drop here as well. So we kind of saw that textbook rejection right there. If you wanted to move your stops a little bit tighter, again, for the sake of like giving yourself more profit in a worst case scenario, I totally understand that as well. This way, you still get to take something home. Take a little bit more home. Your call if you want to give yourself that. If you want more wiggle room, then I get it too. All right, so we're starting to see NASDAQ take out the lows here. Dow not as aggressive to drop. Let's see. Is NASDAQ just feeling imbalanced and then going to push lower? What are we going to see here? Where do you guys have your stops right now? In Q, but yes, word, because it ain't dropping quick. Okay. Don't worry. Let's try the game. Play the game. Yeah, that's why I didn't like NASDAQ sells. It just overall, I just felt like we've already been more bearish on Dow, so I felt like we were going to get more Dow bearishness. Not that it couldn't play out for NASDAQ or anything like that. It just wasn't it wasn't a priority for me. All right. Who's still holding Dow? Who's still holding like a full position and is looking to take this to like the full TP? True all-time high, scary. Karen, you are. Harshi, okay. Cool. Me too. Hold mood. Me, okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we get it. playing with our feelings right now. Holding stops in profit though. Diamond hands. Hold, never fold. Rooting for y'all. Come on. Let's go. Oh, Brandon taking the lead. Taking the crown for the chat. Got the chat crown right now. Brandon versus Harshie for the chat crown. Morning. We're in the same trade. Sick. What's good, fam? What's up, Corey? We shall see. We shall see. All right. So while we have, and we just let that do whatever it wants to do, basically, I wanted to at least share what I think we could see happen with gold. I'm going to give 2 setups because I do think we have kind of a 4-hour possibility, but then we also have a, smaller time frame targets that I would want to approach. So for now, I kind of like this vibe over here. Just trading it into this area. Could be just a colossal trade. Would be epic. All right, so let's get something here written up. Today's setups, we have September. Sorry, my list was showing September 19, 2025. We got gold. So this is 4-hour. And then let's zoom in a little bit. Not that zoomed in. So then we have right out of here. In terms of just immediate targets, the liquidity that we have down here looks solid. So short from like these zones look good. Stops above the high. And this is a great target. Like, this is a fantastic risk reward. 5.9, 6.9? Yeah, that's what's up. Something like this looks clean. We'll actually do it this way. Let's get a little image here. Okay. Chopping up and down. Dow, the NASDAQ, like wanting to grind it down. And Dow just playing. So basically building up liquidity here. I wonder if it takes it and then drops. What's it gonna do? What's it gonna do? Interesting how now we're getting NASDAQ to give that bearish push, and Dow is just not giving up its position. It's not dumping with it. Unfortunate. Okay, so here we got gold for now. I'm gonna just go ahead and drop this right away. If you guys have anything you're looking at, then just drop it in here, and I can look at your charts as well. All right, so Dow choppy, NQ making the moves though, making the moves, dropping that NQ cell that you were in. Who was it, Ricky? Should be looking good. I would have my stops now set in stone though. Like I would have my stops like like right there. Give it a shot. At this point, considering how little Dow wants to go down, you know, I get it. At this point, it's like, all right, do I just take profit, collect a small reward, or you bank on the fact that it's squeezing to just end up going your way? If we get a break below this little structure here, then I'll probably just tighten up a little extra. We'll see. I'm losing faith in this idea, though. I'll be honest. Okay. Now, outside of metals, if we can go pull up here, we got more of majors. You know, we decided to not take anything related to Australian, which was fine. Same thing with the pound. It was getting to these levels before everything else. And then we had CAD. So CAD futures, though, right? We saw this one is lagging behind. Talked about how the market could reverse out of the zone, but it had equal lows, so I was not looking to really do that. So CAD futures, though, still valid for possible buys here. Looks like maybe later next week. So this remains a valid idea. So let's go ahead and add it to here. So we have CAD. All right, Harshy's got a chart. What you got, Harshy? Oil sell here. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Nice little sweep. Word. Let's run it. Wow, that's a tight entry right there. Would love to see that. I'll pull it up here in a bit. Euro, similar. We got, yeah, basically just the same as CAD there. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm just about to get tagged out of this trade. I think I'm like a point away or something. All right, we got Euro here. Same thing, I think. All right, then we got, I think it was Swiss franc was our last. The lone survivor. But it looks like Swiss started to get way more bearish. So I don't know if it's going to be the Swiss. All right, here we go. So my stop was like right here. I think I was 1 point out of getting stopped out in profit so far. Yeah, literally 1 point. That's hilarious. Would it be a miracle if this thing drops from here? It's possible. Anything's possible, right? Got a lot of liquidity building up here. Like, this is a lot of liquidity. Is it hopium if you open up your stop a little bit more? Do you want to open up, expose yourself to more risk? Moving stops to expose more risk, never a really good idea in in my experience. You start to buy into too much hope, and then it could create bad habits. So just barely holding on so far. We might have a lucky one today. Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. NASDAQ pulling back again. Kind of just doing more and more of, luring in more and more buyers. I don't know if we're going to get another pullback. And also, you don't want to get caught up just, believing that there's no way you could possibly be wrong, right? You don't want to be in that position. And just take your stop profit like a champ. If you gave back, 1R, 2R, it is what it is. There will be another trade, right? There will be another trade. Now, this still could go our way. There's hope. Wait, hold on. All right. Lucky Sneeze just came in. Act of God, maybe. We'll see how much luck this sneeze really has behind it. If this trade ends up playing out, then we'll know it's divine intervention. Imagine the thing just melts, just like next minute. Okay, so that was majors. We already went over metals. Let's go ahead and take a look at oil, right? You're asking about oil. It was a short over here. I believe this is what you were looking at. Let me double check. Yeah. All right, perfect. So, looking at oil here. It was the clearance of New York here, and then the market working its way down. We can go into the 5 minute. I think we'll get some good moves here as well. So from here, we see a nice push up. The market drops, basically creates liquidity. We do get a little spike up here, but then it drops again. So I would say, let's see, let's go like 3 minute maybe. Cool. Decent. If we break below these lows, we might have just gotten away with it. That would be wild. And the fact that NASDAQ hasn't even dropped anything yet. Ooh. That sneeze, though. That's wild. Let's see if it breaks that low. Okay. So this is where we start to see money come in and pump oil up to here. So we got that happening this way. The fact that we did go below, take out this, build more liquidity, and then drop again. So, man, I get your entry. I can see the entry having over here. This is what you're looking at. I can also see an entry in here, specifically because you have that one pump and then drop. So I think I'm going to be a bit more conservative than you, and I'm going to look for a short a little bit lower than you are. I'm okay with an entry here. So let's see if we can get something like this. And then, I mean, exits wise, we got liquidity here. So 3.6R fire. Could be decent. Could be pretty decent over here. All right, so oil. Beautiful chart. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. images here. Here we go. I like it. Got an alert set up. This one could happen today. This one could happen today. Then we got Mexican peso, which the more I look at this, the more this looks like it's going to be a nice play. It's really holding this bullish structure super well. All right. Add this to the list. We'll throw this one over here. Okay, updates on indices. So indices working their way down. Survival. I actually can't believe that I survived this one. Working its way down, getting this little imbalance here. This is either going to be where we get the reversal back up and, you know, it is what it is, or this is, you know, we continue to work it down. The fact that NASDAQ struggled to stay up here and is coming back down again, good signs. Good signs in my opinion. Cool. Good stuff, good stuff. So, I mean, this is, I guess, another opportunity. If you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take my profit now, then run it up. If you're like, you know what, I held this long, I like the signs that I'm getting, then also hold, never fold, I guess. So I'm chilling right now. I'm holding this bad boy. This is a test of endurance for many. So here we are. We're getting the imbalance fill, starting to pull up a little bit here after dropping. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was peso. Sol filling in balance, starting to drop. Oh, that's another correlation we can look at though. What's crypto doing? ETH playing out of an order block. Bitcoin, what are you doing? Bitcoin keeps losing momentum when it comes up and starts to drop. Kind of building liquidity. It looks like Bitcoin might want to go down to here. Wow. Unfortunately, I think I was right. We came into an imbalance and then we're just coming right back up. Trash. I was hoping I would be wrong. So that's all it came back to do. It gave us hope just to crush. Well, our dreams aren't crushed yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens now. It's not looking great though. But we can't lose. We can't have a blind hope, but we just got to stick to the plan. Okay. So even with Bitcoin though, I feel like Bitcoin wants to drop down to here still. Here during kind of end of day for FOMC, we had that sell-off before the rally. So I feel like Bitcoin might want to drop further. And if Bitcoin's got to go down some more, that might be enough pressure to keep pushing indices further down. Here we go. Here we go, Nas. Keep doing what you're doing here. This is what we want. What a battle. And that leads us to being able to move on actually outside of just day trading stuff. And let's take a quick look at if there's anything worth mentioning on the stock side and on the crypto side of stuff. Yesterday we had a huge move with Intel. You know, everyone was positioned there. And then now today, AMC waking up. Love to see it. Little wake up here for AMC. Sweet. That's not looking that great. Okay, AMC pumped, already started to dump, so it looks like not enough to keep this going too much more. Tesla still pushing. Yeah, just nothing crazy here. Nothing really much that I want to do. Some solar stuff is starting to pick up some momentum as well. Kind of squeezing. I think a big breakout is coming soon, though, for these solar stocks. Webull with the nice little 4% day today. Fire. This squeeze, breakouts incoming. And then, let's see, a little drop on Lulu. Lucid still going higher. Snap dropping a little bit. All right, so nothing new I would do. I am going to be dropping, soon I'm going to be dropping the information on the, where I'm going to be flipping stocks and cryptos. There'll be like independent videos and, I'll be taking exits anywhere from like 25 to 50%, maybe more, maybe less, depending on the scenario. But, yeah, that'll all be documented. I think it's going to be fun, and it should expand minds, a creative way to have a little, side bag turn into a big bag, possibly. So, yeah, we'll see that unfold as well. But that's what we're looking at with stocks. Nothing really too much. Webull, nice growth today. And then from here, just to dive into the crypto side of things, bearish day today across the board, bloody day, outside of a couple that are holding up pretty well. But see if you, as you guys are looking at this, there might be specific coins that you've been wanting to, get some exposure into and make some plays. Virtual, in my opinion, is one of them that is going to be just hilariously bullish in the future. Another one that I like here is optimism. I'm optimistic here. We've been squeezing for a good 9 months or so. So I can see a huge move, 2x, 3x type of scenario here. So I'm curious. I'm curious how what this can turn into here. Yeah, there's another one I'm looking at, especially with the way that it's been squeezing. A lot of very delayed compared to other assets. Same thing with Cosmos, with Atom here. This one, decent staking, but when it rips, it just kind of wakes up. So I can see us having a similar experience as we did back in 2024. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a pretty big move. So some of these are the ones I'm going to be considering for the crypto flipping challenge I'll be doing. Let me look at the chat, see if we got any questions. That sneeze was crazy timing. Yeah, right? Dow melted a little right after the sneeze. I'm telling you. I'm an insider. That's crazy. That's my inside. While learning lesson, my stop profit was too low. I'm no longer in this with you all. It's okay. Thanks, sweet Lord, for the coffee. Did I short oil? No, I haven't shorted oil yet. I do like the idea, though. I'm not in Snapchat yet. I am waiting. What do I think about Polkadot? Polkadot, OG, man. An OG. I think Polkadot is in a similar position. I think this is... I would not be surprised if we see this thing pump back up to, approaching 850 and so in the near future, even going for that, 10 and above. So safe to say these are, those 1.5, 2x's, 3x types of tokens. This one's an OG. It's been around for a long time. So would not be surprised. I don't know if we're going to make our way back to, 2021 crazy price action, but yeah, Long, I am looking to position myself in Snapchat. The last time I bought Snapchat was in 2018, I believe, for a bit. Yeah, so that's what we got there. I think Polkadot, honestly, like entries probably under, really where we're at right now, 450 or under are solid. And then I think we do have some big just breakout type of, like these types of moments, huge runs. Like I think these are what are coming here shortly for many of these. Someone asked me about XRP on the 15-minute. I think that I like Bitcoin's chart a bit better. I think Bitcoin might go further down, so I feel like XRP will probably break these lows. This one for sure, I don't think it's going to hold. Maybe it trades inside of here. This FOMC candle. Maybe it holds that, but Bitcoin is just it's not dropping as aggressively, so I think buys are going to be more likely to work there. Same thing with ETH. There we go. NASDAQ grinding out the drop. Just little by little grinding this thing out. The only thing I am curious about is if this is going to target like a liquidity run. If this is going to sweep once more before it drops fully. So it's squeezing. This thing is just squeezing. So it's either going to, take out highs again and then drop, or it just drops first. So we'll see. You're getting into Ferrari? Nice. I wanted to. It never got to my zone though. I might have just been too specific, so I wanted buys here. It just tapped it. It didn't go deep enough, so I missed my entry. Had we gotten into Ferrari, then we would be sitting at a 16% right now, like 11. There we go. Okay. Dow. Let's go. Come on now. Come on now. All right. I see you. Getting closer and closer. Let's see if we push here. What's it going to be? Now, question for you guys is, how are you managing your stops now? So, is it tighten up into here? Give yourself even more? What's the thought process here, guys? Are we anyone considering taking profit right now? You're gonna just hold it out to where you feel like it makes sense to. See chat. Move stop above, lower high. How the hell did that trade survive? It's just a G. I'm in the Dow with you, bro. Sweat and adrenaline. Yeah, that's funny. No, we've been battle tested. This one, for sure. Absolutely. It would be nice for this thing to just make up, like either take me out or like make the move, like just let's move on with our lives here. That's why trading indices sometimes is really nice, and sometimes, well, either way, it's nice. I'm grateful. I'm not gonna lie. Either way, it's always a good time. Let's see, NQ. So I feel like it's looking pretty likely that it's going to take out this previous low right here. This is the post New York Open low. Just because there's so many buys that are, like, stops are placed below a lot of this. So seeing this clear this low, that's why like my target is basically connected to NASDAQ clearing this low, because it kind of set the foundation for all of these buys. So there's just a tons of liquidity sitting below here. So that's why that just to me makes a lot of sense. And then it's just going to be dependent on Dow holding this high, which it may or may not do. Because if you can see like Dow is kind of pushing up a little bit while NQ is kind of staying right there. So if we get pullbacks again, you know, it could be one of those scenarios where Dow goes, you know what, let me take these highs out one more time and then make the move. But at that point, I'm just over the trade. It's like I have my stop here. If it plays out, sick. If it doesn't, all right, it is what it is. Okay, let's see. Anyone pass any challenges with these trades? Qualify for withdrawals? Anything of that nature? Let your boy know. Let's see. All right, getting another little micro low. Here we go. All right, bouncing out of those lows right now. Will we crack them? That is the question, my friends. Some more liquidity. This is really making everyone earn it. If there's anything I could say, it's that's the truth right there. It's making everyone earn this trade for sure. All right, so we're just basically creating equal lows again. NASDAQ still hasn't taken out those New York open lows. And then we have this pursuing this area right here. Let's see if we get this. Are we going to clear this or not? Anyone? Let's see here. Let's take a look. Mike, do you recommend to enter the market with 1% risk in the challenges? If you can afford it, sure. Like if losing have a budget on how many challenges you can responsibly do every month. And so if you're like, okay, I do 1% risk, it's not going to mess with my head. I can just take the trades and it's not really a big deal. Then yeah, 1% I think is fine. You just want to make sure that you're able to realign once you are funded, because that's one of the biggest things for people is like they don't change their behavior. So you get funded and then you're like, oh, well, I just did really well with 1%, so let me just keep trading 1%. And then it doesn't actually work out in your favor. So yeah, that's all I would say regarding this for sure. All right, so we're starting to see NASDAQ taking out those lows. Perfect. This is what we wanted to see, right? That capture of liquidity right there. Beautiful. Dow, to me, still likes it should clear liquidity. If you're open to taking profit now, then feel free. I understand that concept there as well. So, and then in terms of adjusting stops, I think you could definitely tighten up quite a bit here. If you felt like more inclined to do so. Makes sense. So now that we saw NASDAQ take out that initial low right there, it really just creates more liquidity. So I think we still have a shot at the market making another move to the downside. At this point, this trade has cleared, depending on your stops, 1.7-ish risk reward. If your stop was here, then it's definitely a much more valuable trade. So it just kind of depends on where your stop is at. But cool. I mean, grinded this out long enough, guys. We'll wrap it up there. Let me know how it goes for you, what your outcomes were for the day. We had one trade, a few more open. I do like that oil sell for later, maybe later in the day. Everything is posted in here. I'll go ahead and actually pin it. So let's see here. Where is that thing? Here we go. All right, so pin to feed. Harshie went over your chart. No one else really had anything there, so cool. All right, guys. Peace out. If you guys, let's hit 2,000 members collectively. So feel free to invite the homies, and we'll see you live again on Monday. Journal your stuff. You know, if you don't have a journal, you can just do whatever you need to. I have one that you guys can get access to as well. Whether you go to tradetopia.store or you just check it out here, you can unlock it there also. So quality. And then if you've seen what we did all week and you want to be able to duplicate that, but you're struggling to control your impulses to make the right decisions consistently, then I strongly recommend you check out what our syndicate looks like. It's that code on the right. This is so that you're locked in and ready to roll. This is so that you're no longer getting in your own way when you're taking your challenges, when you're doing, when it's time for you to get paid, you don't blow up right before that moment. So if you just struggle with the emotional side of that, then definitely feel free to check out what we have going on over here. So take care, guys. If you want to learn more, just scan that code. There's a couple of videos that break everything down, and then book the call. And we'll talk to you all soon. Take care, guys. I'll see you on the inside.